The new African Growth and Opportunity Act, passed by the US Congress last month and signed into law by the president, provides sub-Saharan African nations with the opportunity to continue enjoying duty-free access for many products over the next 10 years. But key US lawmakers had been threatening to kick South Africa out,
which would have been damaging to South African business, South African farmers, South African banking systems. So this was a win-win situation. Sometimes you have to look over the precipice to understand how far down it is if you take a wrong step.
For the last 15 years, US poultry was excluded from South African markets, and just before AGOA was approved by Congress, South Africa finally agreed that the US could sell bone-in chicken, starting at 65,000 metric tons per year, and maintain about 4% of the South African market, with an export tariff of 37%.
When you think for a moment what this meant for 10 years of duty-free entry into the U.S. for companies like BMW, South African citrus, I mean, we look at that whole panoply of exports. So I would say South Africa did a very good job starting from a somewhat weak hand, but they did end up at the end of the day definitely without their poultry industry under immediate threat.
US Senator Chris Coons now hopes this deal will provide an opportunity for US firms to create joint partnerships with South African poultry producers, offering US production expertise.
It's my hope that they will invest, not just in exporting product, but in technology transfer, in training, in partnerships, and ultimately in building and establishing operations in South Africa in partnership with South Africans so that the South African sector grows and becomes a greater exporter into Southern Africa.
For a short period, the new AGOA law places South Africa in a form of ongoing probation for 30 days as the US Trade Representative assesses whether there are outstanding bilateral trade issues. The US has a sizable list of complaints, including intellectual property protection and preferential access given to the European Union. Trade experts here say with the poultry issue resolved, South Africa's unlikely to face exclusion from AGOA to the clear and unambiguous benefits of key South African industries, including mining, vehicles and agriculture. Daniel Ryntjes, CCTV, Washington.